Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how I transformed this my black gorgeous melanin client. So I started with cleaning her face with cleanser and wipes, and I ensure I clean it thoroughly because it's an important step. It's a very important step. After I'm done with that, I go in with my moist essence moisturizer, which I put everywhere, especially under her eyes. After that, I go in with my Cetaphil moisturizer. These are the two moisturizer I use, and look at her face, it's already like greasing. That shows that it's already moistured. That, I go in with my sweat block. I place it in the key areas where necessary, the brows, the cheekbone, the nose bridge, and all. After I'm done with that, I ensure that it dry. As you're applying your moisturizer, please make sure it dry before you apply another one. After I'm done with that, I go in with my Kiss Beauty spray, then I let it dry. When I'm done with that, I go in with my Super Stay foundation. This Super Stay foundation, like I said in my last videos, is very watery. Like, look at her face, it's already blending. Like, it's literally like I'm not even tapping anything. Like, as I'm just placing my beauty blender, the thing is just giving. Look at it, everything is just giving. When I'm done with that, then I go in with my contour. Actually, she's dark in complexion, so I'm not sure if the foundation I use is actually darker than her skin, but I just use it because when you use a liquid foundation, the contour shows more and it gives this beautiful look at the end. So that's why I really like using a liquid foundation for contour before I even go into my powder. But the contour I'm using is actually darker than her skin, but not too shade, like a shade darker than her skin. So it's not showing very well. But I'm going to darken it with powder. So that's why I just continued. So as I'm blending my contour, I go in with my blush. I use red because she's dark. Naturally, the idea of applying blush is when the person is very dark, use a lighter blush. That way it could pump out her face and bring out everything you needed in the face. As you can see, she's dark, so I go in with red, and I even ensure that it's a little bit much so that it can blend in or it can go in and pop her face. So after I'm done with that, I also apply a little of this blush on her nose bridge so that it can pop out and give me the nice look that I want. So before I continue, kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you have subscribed before and you're still here to watch again, thank you so very much. I really appreciate. And if this is your first time watching my video, you are highly welcome, and I hope you'll be part of the family. So kindly please subscribe and watch this video to the end to see how the result was like. So let me continue. As you can see, I'm blending all the contour, the blush, and the foundation so that it will not give me a straight line, because one thing I hate is straight lines. So after I'm done with that, I go in with my concealer. I use the Zickel concealer. Yes, the Zickel concealer is two shade. The one inside is two shade lighter than her skin, and then the one outside is a shade that is a shade lighter than her skin. Sometimes I use exactly the same skin shade, and sometimes I use a shade lighter than the skin, but I ensure that it's not as bright as the one I put inside. So I started blending downward. The reason why I like to blend downward is because before I reach the under eye, at least the concealer will have dry a little bit. So, well, after I'm done with blending the other side, then I go in with the side of the eye. As you can see me doing, I didn't just blend from inside directly outside. I blend from outside towards the inside, like I'm doing right now. So after I blend the outside a little bit, then I go in with my contour. I contour my nose and leave the inside concealer. The reason why I'm leaving the inside concealer, I want it to dry. So instead of waiting for it to dry and all that, I prefer to just move on to my nose contour, and I'm still using the same foundation I use for the cheekbone contour. After I apply the little I wanted to apply on the nose, I blend in with my beauty blender. Please note this beauty blender I'm using is not dry. I soak it inside water, then I squeeze out all the water inside. There's no water on the beauty blender, but it's not totally dry. So after I finish with the contour, the under eyes will have dry a little bit. Then I go in and blend my under eyes. But before I do that, I still try to blend in everything together. So this is me blending the under eyes because I see that it has already dried a little the way I want. But if you are already using a palette, if you are using a concealer palette, I advise you shouldn't leave it to dry because concealer palettes are a little bit thick. So leaving it to dry might not give you the best result for under eye. But if you are using um any product like Zicare, Younger Beauty, Nuban, then leave it to dry a little bit so that it can get a full coverage under the eyes. Like look at it, look at the under eyes, already giving me a full coverage. So after I'm done with that, I go in with my RCM setting powder. But before I apply the setting powder, I blend with one side of the beauty blender, then I set with another side of the beauty blender. So after I blend, I set. I blend, I set. The reason why it is necessary to blend before you set is there might be creasing before you, like for example, I blend one side of the eye before I blend the other. So imagine I do not crease, I do not blend before applying setting powder. It already has creasing. Yeah, it already has creatine, so that's why it's necessary you blend before you apply your setting powder. So this is me applying the setting powder under the eyes, on the nose bridge, everywhere you apply your concealer. That's where you are going to apply your setting powder, but please blend before you set. Blend before you set. And yes, I'm also using the same beauty blender I use for her foundation, the soaked beauty blender that I have squeezed out the water. But if you want, you can also use a powder puff. But I'm used to using a beauty blender, so that's why I'm using the beauty blender. So after I'm done with that, I go in with my flawless powder palette, which I use to set all over the face from the neck upwards. But for the cheek, I use two shade darker than her skin for the contour side, and the forehead, I'm using two shade darker than her skin. It's like repeating the process, but just that for this, I'm using powder to contour instead of liquid foundation. That's the difference. So after I'm done with that, I go in with my eyeshadow for the blush. I'm using orange and yellow for this blush. Like it's like I normally use orange and yellow. I just like this color combination. So I use orange and yellow for the blush, for my powder blush. After that, I go in with the nose contour. I'm using the same powder, but two shade darker than her skin. After I'm done with the contour using the flawless powder, then I go in with my RCMA setting powder, which I'm going to use the bake the under eyes. It's more like a reverse contour because you are going to start with a straight line on the contour nose. Yeah. So like what I'm doing right now, that's exactly what you follow and you get what you want. So after I'm done with applying it on the other side of the eye, I also did the same thing in the other eyes, in the other side of the eye. So, and the reason mostly why it's actually very good to also bake is, don't forget you are going to do your eyeshadow and then there will be fallovers. So this baking will first, we can hold any excess eyeshadow that will fall off on your eyes, so you can easily dust it out after you are done with your eyeshadow. So when you are done with this baking powder, I go in with my tamer, brow tamer which I used to comb out the brows in the direction I wanted to draw my brows. Then I use the back of the spoolie brush to press it down, because you do not want to be drawing line for brows and then the hair is disturbing you. That would be like a distraction, and then you end up doing something else. And please, when you want to carve your brows, make sure you carve in the direction of the brows you want to draw. That way, when you want to draw your brows, all you have to do is just follow up the brows. So that way it will be easier for you to draw your brow. So just have it in the back of your mind. When carving, carve the way you want to draw your brows. So all you have to do when you want to draw the brows is just follow the brows with your pencil, and then trust me, you achieve an easy brows drawing without any difficulties, because that's what I'm doing and it really worked for me. So if you're a beginner, doing this method will be good for you. And I'm using this Davis pencil in color 003. I use it to draw the brows, and I also use it to fill in my brows and also the stroke lines in front of the brows. And make sure your pencil is sharpened. I mean, it's not thick in the mouth, because don't you want to give it that hair-like look. So do not make your pencil thick in the mouth. And because I work alone, I do not even know when my video stop recording these brows, because at this point, where I actually use my concealer to highlight the brows wasn't in the video, it's cut out. But I'll definitely show you in another video, so please continue watching my video and please subscribe and put on your notification whenever I post, you'll see it. Thank you for watching to this point. Then after that, I go in with my eyeshadow primer. Eyeshadow primer is an important step you do not want to miss when you are putting an eyeshadow, because that's what hold your eyeshadows. That's what hold it and give it that look that you really want. That finishing look is your eyeshadow primer that did that. So eyeshadow primer is an important step when applying eyeshadow. So I use this color, this African Queen Magic eyeshadow, and this color is brown. Yeah, I'm using brown for the outer to the inside. I use brown and I ensure that I blend. And now the reason why I use that razor is because her eyes is already big. So I do not want to pass her eyes. I don't want to enlarge the eyes. So that's why I just use the razor to give where I want to stop. Like, okay, this is where, from this place to this place where I want to stop. So that's why I use the razor to just support it. So when I'm done with that, I go in with this color of eyeshadow. This color, I don't know. Is this pink? No, should I say dark pink? Yeah, I use that one in center. Like I use the brown inside, then I use this. Is it dark pink in the middle of the eyes? Then I go with my liner. I use this HIQ gel liner. Yeah, it's black and I really like the gel. I use it to draw the gel before I put the lashes. Then I still draw it on top of the lashes so that it could look real and all that. So when I'm done with that, I dust out the excess fall in the eyeshadow. Then I blend in my baking powder using my flawless powder. I just use it to press in the baking powder. Then I go in with my big powder blush and repeat what I did earlier. I place the powder all around the face. Then I put a little bit of contour again. It's just that this time around, it's more like I'm not even touching the powder. I'm touching it just a little, because I just want to frame, like redo what I did. So that's why I just did this process back. So when I'm done with that, I go in with my uh powder. Sorry, I go in with my blush. I use the same orange and yellow for the blush. After that, I go in with my bronzer. Like bronzer is important though. It give you that you see how our cheek is glowing. Yeah, that's the work of bronzer for you. So I really like using bronzer. I put it in the cheek, the brows arc, the forehead, and the nose bridge. Please, I would love to show you the video of where I did my lipstick, but I just have to apologize because I work alone. I can't really see what is happening in my video, so I couldn't able to do the lips. But this is the lips I use. I think I use only purple all through the lips. That's the color she chose. So this is what it's looking like. I hope you like it and please give it a thumbs up. Bye.